Good evening, everyone. Welcome to game number two in the THH SC2 Tourney number two. I'm here with Cast and Senate, and we're going to be casting a game between Lupinum, the red Zerg in the bottom right-hand corner, and Smackmybutt, also known as Fernando, the green Protoss in the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, and we're still in the first round here, and this is also another game three. So these guys are tied 1-1, and so PVZ is an interesting matchup. Usually, from what I've heard, most of the time it's actually widely considered to be the most balanced matchup in the game. So usually there's a lot of back and forth, and so hopefully this is going to be a pretty interesting one to watch.
Yeah, I hope so. I like playing a Zerg player because especially as Protoss. I mean, there's such great unit compositions that you can go against, unlike, when you have a Terran or something like that where you have to do specifics. This is, things can swift like change up really easily here, and you really got to react to that scouting and seeing what they're doing.
Yeah, it's
And
definitely
so
key.
right off the bat here, so Nando doing a nice setup. I like what he's doing here. So we got the gateway, got the pylon, and then you've got a little bit of space there. I'm certain two Zerglings could get by if he only had one Zealot, but if he stuck two Zealots, put him on hold, he could hold that. A Zergling may be able to get by on the bottom. It's hard to say. Zerglings are
No,
really small, so
this one that is a tight spot. It does look normal, but a Zergling cannot get through there because I don't think you can even put a probe there. I've tried it. The one time I played this, and I locked myself in doing this.
okay. So again, this is the Agra Valley map. We've just had a previous game where we had two opponents on this one, BP and Bagel Master, and so a familiar map.
Yeah, and Rantar's electing, or excuse me, Smack My Butt's electing to go with the Forge after the Gateway, presumably to see if he, maybe get down a cannon or something to help him with that wall off down there.
Yeah, and it looks like he's gone ahead and moved his probe just outside the base, just north of his expansion, his natural there,
Yeah, that's
just hanging
interesting.
out.
Yeah,
Uh, Prayer moment under the tree, I think.
yeah, and if you look at Fernando's camera, Smack My Butt's camera, he actually hasn't scouted. He's not usually, that's something that he doesn't really do from what just watching his games. And if you take a look at Lupinum's camera, he's got his Overlord creeping up here to try to see what exactly Fernando is doing.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. So he's put down the cannon and he's got a zealot in front there. Uh, so when you would do something like this is kind of a tech up strategy. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. You want to lock yourself in your base, help yourself be a little bit more situational, and that does explain this probe outside in the natural now.
Yeah, for sure. Usually you'll see people totally wall themselves in with cannons if they're going to go for Void Rays or Fast Colossus or something like that.
One thing I'm not really sure of is the setting your training of probes to your gas that he's got going on. There's another gas geyser up, but nobody's been sent to it just quite yet. And I really like the spawn pool placement by Lupinum. At first, when I saw it drop, I wasn't really sure if that would impede these workers, but it looks like they're working around it pretty nicely. And it might actually help them if anything comes in on the one side.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like Lupinum's trying to do some scouting with these Zerglings over here up in the upper right hand corner. Now he's just kind of leaving them over there.
Yep. So and that's exactly what you need to do. You gotta find out what he's doing. He had his overlord in there. He knows, he knows that Nando is walled off completely. So it is a tech up. So then he immediately started going to layer, and we've got just a spine crawler actually. Not. I thought he was going for a spire, but I
Yeah,
don't see it quite yet.
yeah, it looked like a Spire to me too, but definitely just a Spine Crawler.
I would say just as a Zerg player, one base muta is really difficult to pull off. So you're just saving all your gas. You can tell Lupinum hasn't got metabolic boost, which is Zergling speed. He's just got lair, and now we're just saving all our gas and you know going to grab our next tech. Although he does have a shitload of minerals right now, so not quite sure what he's. I would definitely want to spend those.
Yeah, and both players, if you take a look at the unit counts here, both they kind of have really low drone and probe numbers. Lupinum's down at 15, which at this point in the game it seems like a very low number to me. And Fernando only has 20, which is also a pretty, for a Protoss player, seems like an extremely low number to me.
And he,
So what Lupinum was trying to do in the top there is he was trying to like puke the creep out of the Overlord and
yeah,
then
I saw that.
block him, and he just had it off just by a touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so close. I thought he was just, if he just creeped in just a little bit more, he would have really stopped that expansion. Really would have been frustrating. But he's lost his probe.
Yeah, that's a good tactic too. I really like that. If if he would have actually had it in the right positioning to block the expansion. It's really smart.
Just a little bit of anger.
This was fairly characteristic of some of the matches here. I think one other thing too, good work on Lupinum there. You know, you're not going to beat three zealots with 4 zerglings run away. So.
He's sitting a little high on his cash right now, which, I mean, as a Zerg player, like I play Zerg every once in a while. I don't know if you, I mean, I think at this point you really do need to expand if you do know that he's walled in. Get that gas for those mutas if he's going to go mutas. And there's the Spire. So mutas it is, it looks like.
Yeah. And I think like he's at 33, 34 supply, so you could have spent a lot of those minerals already on Overlords, on getting your supply up, and then that would when the mutas do come out, then you're not supply blocked in any way.
Yeah, and as a Zerg player, it's usually pretty good to try to stay one base ahead of your opponent if possible. And now that he knows that Fernando has actually successfully expanded, he really should have tried to get for that expo, but he does have the mutas out now, and we'll see what he manages to do with these. And still, the probe number for Fernando is killing me. It's he's still at 20 probes at almost a 10-minute point in the game, and you definitely want to. As a Protoss player, you should always be trying to build as many probes as possible, especially if you have 2 bases like this. And here come the Zerglings running up to the expo, and they run into the Zealots here.